So this right here is Valve's Steamdeck, and it's possibly the greatest tech product I've bought in the last decade. And it's 3 years since launch. It's completely changed the way I see gaming. You know, this actually solved one of my greatest problems with Steam. Take a look at your library and ask yourself how many Steam sale games are still sitting there unplayed, but you're for sure gonna get to them. I feel like that's an issue that a lot of us run into lately. It's just not wanting to commit so much time to maybe sit at a desk that you've already been at all day, especially if you're a dad or someone who doesn't have a ton of time to throw into gaming right now. So a perfect way to describe this is a portable backlog annihilator. And it really has the ability to reignite and satisfy that urge to just disconnect once in a while without any friction at all. Now, that doesn't mean it's for everyone out there, but I want to explain my thoughts. Your first impression of a Steam Deck shows you how different it is compared to a Windows handheld. There's no bloatware or pop-ups or any OneDrive ads. It's incredible to me how much Microsoft has dropped the ball in this space when it comes to delivering any sort of gaming-focused, polished OS. It's just clean and minimal. And it offers you a console experience where you can customize everything exactly the way you want it. Cap the refresh rate, lock down the GPU clock, or just leave it alone and it runs. It's not a powerhouse. A lot of people will prefer something like an Ally X or Legion Go, just if you want that added fidelity or refresh rate. Now, despite the fact that I love the added horsepower on all Windows handhelds, I continue to come back to the Steam Deck. It's not about the performance, it's not about the numbers on paper, it's just about the package that Valve delivers with the Steam Deck. And they just nail the experience perfectly. A lot of it has to do with SteamOS being as polished as it is right now. You want this to be an emulation workhorse, install EmuDeck, and you basically have 5 consoles in one. Valve has learned so many lessons from failing in the past with their previous experiments that they've been able to iterate relentlessly to the point where they've nearly perfected the handheld experience, especially with the improvements OLED brought to the table. The screen looks amazing, it stays super cool under load, isn't an insanely demanding resolution. You get those crispy OLED blacks, and at this compact size, with the pixel density and insane brightness, it basically offers a premium OLED experience with punchy colors and even HDR support. On paper, it might not make a ton of sense to buy realistically worse hardware, like the Steam Deck isn't crushing any performance benchmarks, it's not running AAA games at above 60 FPS, but it goes beyond that. Valve created an environment that was meant to bridge the gap between PC gaming and console gaming, and it feels like it's finally ready now. The controls are ultra accessible with community-made profiles, custom button layouts. The whole setup weighs 640 grams. There's haptic trackpads that you can use for mimicking mouse movements. You can see the influence here from the original Steam controller. So it's just really a brutally versatile Swiss Army knife of a device. I use it for indie games on the go, emulation if I want to play my old favorite 360 game, or a Nintendo game if you're feeling risky. And lately, where support has finally caught up is remote play and cloud gaming functionality. There's now a native NVIDIA GeForce Now app, so you can basically treat this as a full-fledged cloud gaming device. If you're into it, I basically stream from Steam Link from my main PC, so it acts like an extension of hardware I already own. Especially if you already have a gaming PC at home and want to use it without having to be at your setup 24/7, the smaller screen at 90 Hertz feels buttery smooth, and I feel like because of the hardware restrictions, I find myself trying more titles and discovering more types of games that I would have never tried in the past. It's just a frictionless, easy experience on the go. Sometimes I don't want to mess with Windows or deal with all the BS that comes with it. I just take the Steam Deck, I hit a button, get back into my game, whether it's a couple hours later or a couple days later. Quick Resume is mind-blowingly impressive. There's no proprietary storage or gimmicks. You just buy an SSD or SD card on Amazon and you're done. A lot of other companies are consistently releasing new handheld models on a yearly cycle, but Valve is just sticking with it, improving the software side of things on a pretty consistent basis, where they're treating it more like a generational device rather than a yearly refresh. It has an AMD APU with a mini fan and battery, so the whole setup stays portable. It's only a 15-watt max TDP, and battery life is really solid. It's gotten better compared to the original LCD gen. I tend to stick with 2D indie games if I'm on the go and really can get upwards of 10 hours out of this thing. Really at home, if I'm on the couch, I just stream from my main PC and the battery drain is minimal. I also don't need to have these massive titles installed on the internal storage, and the performance is pretty baller. Like if I showed myself a device like this even 10 years ago, it would have blown my mind. No fan noise or really noticeable input lag. I have a pretty solid Wi-Fi at home, but it's really just allowed me to game wherever I want right away without any obstacles. I also own all my games. I don't need any subscription services, and Valve also owns Steam, so there's constant sales. This thing exists to sell games. Valve knows if they make it dead easy to play your games all the time, you're gonna buy more games. Same goes with Steam family sharing. I feel like when I take a Steam Deck everywhere, I have this unlimited supply of content anywhere I go. And big shout out to the sponsor of this video, Charge. If you are considering picking up a handheld this year, right now battery life is still an uphill battle with these devices. So I've tested out a ton of great battery banks on the channel, but this one's pretty sweet. This is the Chargeek 170, and it looks like something out of Cyberpunk. Not your usual boring battery bank. Transparent tech is pretty sick, especially since you get a look at what's going on beneath the hood. And with this one, you get all the great features you'd expect from a high-end power bank, like fast charging 3 devices at once. It has a 170 watt max total output, power delivery 3.1, it's airline safe, IP66 water resistant. You can charge it from dead to 50% in only 20 minutes, and it's 24,000 milliamp hours, which is large enough where you don't need to worry about anything dying on the go. Plus, construction is legit. There's these metal plates that secure the batteries and logic board to the chassis, and the whole thing is completely transparent with this little integrated display, so you can track all the information about everything that's going on in real time. So power output, wattage, temperature, it looks like something from space, and I've been really impressed with the performance thus far. So I definitely recommend it. I have links in the description if you're interested in checking it out. The ability to play without any internet connection, ergonomics are awesome. You can tinker with it and push it to the absolute limits. I still personally like to stick with more powerful hardware or an actual mouse and keyboard if I'm gonna play something like a shooter or a new remaster, because Cyberpunk and Oblivion at 30 FPS still look kind of rough. Valve dropped the OLED revision and refined everything about the Steam Deck, and at this point, I wouldn't even really consider getting an LCD over an OLED model. It's just that much better. The motion clarity, better action buttons, refined haptics. This thing made me believe that handheld PCs could actually be enjoyable. Even with all the competition out there right now, the ecosystem you get with the Steam Deck, with 3 years of polish to Proton, continues to prove you don't always need the latest and greatest hardware. Some games are super comfortable in this form factor, especially if you want to be social once in a while and not be locked away in your room. This isn't an ad for Valve. I bought my Steam Deck and I honestly wish I would have looked into it sooner. So 3 years later, this thing continues to be an absolute blast to use and one of my favorite bang for buck gaming devices I've ever owned. So please share your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'd love to hear what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.